reception. Thanks for joining me today for our second literacy lesson of the week. So yesterday, can you remember what story we read? That's right, What the Ladybird Heard. Now today, in today's lesson, we're going to be making our own story map and then using the story map to speak the story. So let's see first of all if we can remember what happens in our story. So, where was our story set? Can you remember? That's right, it was set on a farm. Here it is. There's our picture of the farm. Can you remember any of the animals that lived on the farm? Pause the video now and tell your helper any of the animals that you can remember. Let's have a look. So we have 2 cats, we have a sheep, a pig, a horse, a dog, we've got a hen, then we've got a duck on the pond, there's a goose, and there's the prize cow. Well remembered. Now, there's also a very important little animal. Can you remember who that was? That's right, it's the ladybird. Now, the ladybird's very important in this story. Can you remember why? Pause the video now if you need to. That's right, so the ladybird was really clever because the ladybird heard things and she saw things, didn't she? And then she spotted, what did she spot? Lanky Len and Hefty Hugh. They were coming in their black van with a map. And they wanted to steal the prize cow, didn't they? But the ladybird heard and the ladybird saw, and she went to the animals with a plan. And she told them all about it. And they said, they will not steal our prize cow. No, they will not. And then she told them all the plan. Can you remember what the plan was? Pause the video now to talk about what you remember about the plan. That's right. The plan was that each animal was going to have a different noise to confuse the robbers. And they did confuse the robbers, and where did they end up? In the pond. And the police were called, and then everyone on the farm had a lovely celebration, which was really, really, really super. And at the end, the ladybird still said never a word. Fantastic. So now that we've remembered what happens in our story, we are ready to start our story map. So you're going to need some paper and something to write with. I've also sent you some pictures of some parts of the story that might help you. So I've sent you a picture of all the animals, just so that you can remember what animals were in the story. And I've also sent you a picture of, let me find it. The different noises that they all make, just so that you can remember. So you can get those as well, or if you're not going to print them out, that's okay. Just have them ready on your iPad or the phone that you're using, or your laptop, so that you can get them when we come to that part of the story. But you can pause at any time if you need to. Right then, so go and get what you need and then come back when you're ready. I'm going to switch my camera around so that I'm ready. Okay, reception, here we are. So let's see, what is our story called? Well, it's called What the Ladybird Heard. So I'm going to write that at the top of my page. What the ladybird heard. And now we always start our story maps with a nice open book, just to show us it's the beginning of our story. Once upon a time. So once upon a time, some animals lived on a farm. Now, can we remember what animals lived on our farm? You can get your picture up if you like, or I'm going to show you it in our book. Let's have a look. Can we remember? Let's have a little look. So we've got a sheep. So I'm going to draw my fluffy sheep. Can you remember what else we had? There was a goose, wasn't there? Let's remember what the goose looks like. Oh, here's the goose. The goose has got a nice long, tall neck. So I'm going to do a long, tall neck for my goose. And make sure I've got a nice beak. There we go. And let's see what else. Oh, don't forget the fine prize cow. Look at that cow. Right then, so I'm going to draw my cow's, just my cow's face. Those are its horns, and then it's got its ears there. And there. Now, it doesn't look very much like a cow, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I can remember that that's my cow. And then let's see. Oh, look, we've got a duck. So let's draw our duck. You can be drawing along with me if you want to, or you can watch me and then you can pause the video. Whatever you'd rather do. Right, then here's my duck. Swimming on the water. Fantastic. What else can you remember? Oh, I remember we had a pig. I'm going to get my pig drawn. There's my pig. And that reminds me of a cat because it's got pointy ears. And my cat's going to have whiskers. Definitely a little cat. And there were 2 of those, so I'm going to put a number 2 by them. And then we've got our hen, haven't we? So I've got to make sure my hen looks like a hen and not a duck. So I'm going to put some little bits on top of its head because hens often have that and a nice long tail. There we go, that's my hen. And, oh, I remember, the little doggy. So what's my doggy going to look like? I know. It's going to, oh, there we go. It's going to have long ears like that. Just to remind me that it is a doggy, and a black nose. There we go. So those are all my animals on the farm. Oh, we've forgotten someone very important. Can you remember who we've forgotten? That's right, our ladybird. So I'm going to get my ladybird in with 3 spots on each side. It's got its little head and some antennae. There we go. There's my little ladybird. So what you can do now is pause the video if you haven't already done it, and you can draw your animals into your story map. And then we'll see if we can remember what happens next. Okay. Super job. You've got all of your animals drawn. So now we have to remember what happens next. Now, I think that we get introduced to our ladybird, don't we? And our ladybird said never a word. So what I'm going to do is do our where have we gone? Our ladybird, like that, with our dots on, her little head. But I'm going to do shh next to it, so that we know that she's very, very, very quiet. She doesn't say a word. But what does the ladybird do? Can you remember? The ladybird saw and the ladybird heard. So I'm going to do my little arrow again, and I'm going to do some eyes to show that my ladybird can see. And I'm going to do a little ear to show the ladybird hears and the ladybird sees everything. Fantastic. Now I wonder, can you remember what it is that the ladybird sees and hears that gets her worried? What happens next in the story? Pause the video now and tell your family what you think happens next. And if you want to take yourself even further, you can actually draw a picture of it in your story map. Right, then let's have a look. Yes, that's right. She hears and sees 2 men in their big black van. Oh no. So we need to draw our big black van. Here we go. So there's my van. Here are my wheels going on. Little circles. There's the cabin that they sit in. There we go. So there's our van. So the ladybird sees and hears the van with Hefty Hugh and Lanky Len. And what did they have with them? Can you remember what they had with them? Let's have a look. That's right, they've got their map, haven't they? Because they're going to try and get the prize cow. So I think we need to draw a map. That little footprints, and then we like to draw an X marks the spot. And then what were they going to steal? Can you remember? That's right, it was the prize cow. So what I'm going to draw is a trophy, because our prize cow might win a special trophy because it's a prize cow. There we go, to show they're going to try and steal the prize cow. Oh no! So, what happens next? What does the ladybird do? Can you remember? Because there she is, look. She's on the map. She can see. And what does she do next? Let's have a little look. Well, she goes and tells all of the animals, doesn't she? She goes and tells them all. So, let's do the ladybird. Here she is. And I'm going to do a speech bubble to show that she's going to tell the animals all about what she's heard. Now, the animals are very, very, very cross about this, aren't they? And they all do their noises. So I think we could do an ear to show that they all do their own noises. The cow says moo, the hen says cluck, hiss said the goose, and quack said the duck. And that ear will just remind us that that's where they all make their noises. And none of them want him to steal the fine prize cow. They say, no, he can't do that. So I'm going to do a picture of our cow with the big horns. Here we go. I want to do a cross through it because they're saying, no, they can't steal our fine prize cow. That is not okay. And that picture will remind us to say what the animals thought about the idea. So, is that the end of our story? No, it's not. Because the ladybird, let's just have another little look, had an idea and told all the animals. So, for an idea, we often draw a light bulb to show that we've got a really good idea. So there is my light bulb. Fantastic. Now, reception, you're going to have a little go at doing the rest of the story map. So what I want you to do is think about the things that happen next. So let's just have a quick reminder. So here they are, they're coming with their map, aren't they? And they hear all the animals doing the wrong noises. They come at night time, so that might help as well. You might want to do a little picture for night time. And then, let's have a look. All the animals doing the wrong noises, and what happens at the end? Oh, they fall into the pond and they get taken away by the police. And at the very end, the animals are all celebrating. So I'd like you to pause the video and have a little go at finishing off your story map, and we'll come back together in a second. Welcome back, reception. So hopefully by now you've finished off your story map. If you found that tricky, don't worry. You can look at some of my last pictures and you can decide what to do. So let's have a quick check. So here I've done that it was the dead of night. So I've done some stars and a moon. And then I remembered that we used an ear to show that the animals were making a sound. So I've put my ear again. Then they went splash into the pond. Uh-oh. I've done a phone and 999 because the farmer called the police. And then I've drawn some handcuffs to show that they got arrested by the police and taken to prison. There's my ear again because the animals all made their noise. And now I've drawn some notes here for music just to show that the farmer cheered and was dancing around. And then finally, the ladybird said never a word. Now come back to part 2 where we're going to be acting out. We're going to be speaking our story using our story map. See you in a minute.